Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on a second channel. Inside of today's video, we're breaking down another monthly finals. So hopefully I can do this every single time there's monthly finals going on for the three regions. I'm not really too interested in South America, but if you guys are interested, maybe I could break that down as well. But I really care about NA as well. NA is fire. So we've got Tribe Gaming versus LUMINOSITY. You guys should be familiar with these guys for sure. Literally the GOATs in the scene right now. I guess they're kind of drafting him. It's just updating a little bit slow. But New Horizons, a very cheesy map. So in terms of this, of course, I know the score and the outcome, but I don't know the set score. I think I fell asleep when I watched this last week. Well, I think I watched like nearly the first bit of the first set. So I'm interested to watch this for the first time with you guys as well. I just think it gives a good authentic reaction, and I'll just talk about what I think as well in terms of the meta and what they're going. So the one thing I definitely noticed as well is that they got the Gene Buster, which is just, we've seen this strategy in qualifiers. LUMINOSITY pulled this out against STMN, and it was a very cheesy strategy. You know, I was unaware of that strat, and then I saw it. I was just like, how can you beat that without a wall break or just something like that? If you draft it right, it's literally unpushable. And, you know, Tribe are literally targeting the kit ban because I think LUMINOSITY really love the kit on, like, Knockout Bounty. It's really, like, strong / underrated in the EU, but other regions maybe a little bit slower the kit. Maybe EU's overrating it, but LUMINOSITY definitely like the kit. So Meg, Gray. So Gray, the reason why Gray's so good, we saw that with APAC yesterday. Gray on this map, he's kind of been forgotten about a little bit in the knockout meta, but on this map in particular, you just need like one good walking cane and you can break open the entire side. The reason why people don't just straight up go Brock instead is because Brock's a little bit more squishier, whilst at least Gray, he has that kind of presence, especially late game as well. He's got the super eventually that he can just turn the tide in his favor. If you guys know how to do the Gray hook trick as well, you can literally confirm a kill really easily with that strategy. So to go Piper, is that last or is that fifth? I'm unsure because it was a little bit glitchy, wasn't it? But Piper, the reason why they've gone Piper then, even into Gene Buster, is again to break open the map. I saw Tribe go Piper, I believe, on Bell's Rock against Space Station, I believe, and I didn't really like it then. But Piper in this scenario is pretty good. And then the Cole last pick. So I do like Cole, but I was a bit surprised when I saw Cole last pick. You know, on paper, you might think, oh, Cole's going to be good against this. But you've got Gray, who can interrupt a Cole super. You've got Piper, who can just switch over to knockback. You've got Meg, who can have the knockback star power on as well, if needs be. So I just don't think Cole's really going to have that kind of fire in him on this map. I don't know. Again, I don't scrim 24/7. So I feel like there could have been a better brawler than Cole. But I guess they're just doubling down with the aggression for sure. But I think Tribe still need to play this pretty perfectly. They need to open up the map as quickly as possible. We can see Chino here already going really aggro. And with all it takes with Cole, I mean, that's a really good kill onto Tyrant. All it takes with Cole is 2 swings of the pickaxe to kill a Piper now with the damage buff. I think he could do that anyway, I think, but it just feels so much deadlier now in the meta. So you can see the strategy that LG are going for. They're trying to get that Gene super as much as possible. We don't really want to waste it here. And what you don't want to do with Gene is actually break open the walls. So you can see here kind of flashing a super. Any kind of just casual Gene or whatever would just break open that wall. But that's what Livy's trying to do. He's trying to bait out the Gene pool to break open the walls. And LUMINOSITY don't fall for it. Sometimes people might just get impatient and just go for the pool anyways, but Zulan already gets a wall break, which is very clutch. So it's not impossible to win the first round, but it's very hard with the strategy that Tribe are going for. They're trying to open up the walls and expose Buster and Gene, but it's definitely something that they wouldn't have wanted to die so early on. But Tyrant's got his super right here. You see the strategy again that they're going for with a Buster shield. That's a really good walking king gadget, but the healing from Gene is just too much. They now sit in the corner, but that's another walking king gadget. Literally destroys pretty much all of the walls. And now if Zulan can get into position and get the pinch going, he can break open this little L block. That's still really annoying. Like the fact that they can still just hide behind that. Gene cannot get a clean pull. I don't know what gadget Liv is running, but pretty much all of his brawlers can potentially dodge a Gene pool. Another good walking cane from Tyrant. My Tyrant is just a goat in NA. I feel like he hardly puts a foot wrong, and he's always the one making the pressure. And that's such a good snipe from Tyrant, especially because of the Gene heals. You kind of try and focus the Gene. you know, it reminds me of, like, say if you're running a Byron or a Poco, a lot of people make the bad mistake of just aiming for the people that are getting heals. Sometimes you want to get sneaky shots onto the healer because they're actually the most vulnerable brawler. That's why, of course, Carl and Buster are just tanking from the whole time. So Charles goes for the pull, unfortunately misses out. Now the whole map is open. They're forced back to retreat, but they can still win this with a Buster shield. That's pretty good. With a gene pool, they can definitely turn around this game. But the way that Tribe are playing it, they're playing so... like, they're playing so much more as a team and what I'm used to. Like, Tribe, especially in World Finals, I felt like they weren't really playing too much as a team. Like, on paper, they should have definitely beat SK in terms of what I know in their peak performance, but felt a little bit disjointed. So, I know I heard from, like, I think it was Zulan or someone else, I can't remember on the team, that they're just trying to become more teammates, like more friends outside of the game, which is definitely very important for team dynamics. So Chino's selecting his gadget here. He's going to try and go on to Zulam. I guess it's kind of like a last ditch attempt to try and get rid of some utility, but this is really good. They're pushing really far forward, but there's just so much damage going on. All of these guys, none of them can really heal up to the full amount. Looks like Ezlevi is going to go down here, but they're just all pinched back, maybe a little bit too far back, a little bit too grouped up, and just Tribe are able to pick them off. So again, I was surprised that they were able to make this one work. My guess is that they've kind of kept this strategy in their locker. Again, another thing that I noticed about Tribe a lot is that they tend to go the same things too much. They tend to go their comfort picks too much. They're not really known for playing aggressive ideas. But this is what I like about Tribe. They're not afraid to, like, hide strategies, do something for the first time. I feel like this is something they've definitely been hiding. Again, I'm pretty interested to hear from them whether they have, but you know, the Piper wall break strat is actually pretty good. So Zulan gets a decent wall break, I guess. You can't really risk it with Piper. You're a pretty squishy brawler. But Patchy's already got super here. Again, it's very important for Luminosity to get this first round win. I mean, it's pretty easy for them. Good gene pull from Charles there. But again, pretty much all of them are just tanking for the gene. Tyrant manages to get his super pretty easily. So, yeah, now Luminosity need to probably switch things up here. They're going to go and try and go down the left-hand side. But the walking canes are just too much. Like, the fact that you can just break open the walls, like, it pretty much just counters their whole composition. But here, good gadget from Tyrant. And they managed to get that kill so quickly. That is clean. And then the wall break as well. Patchy going to go down to the swipe. That is insane from Tyrant. Like, you might think that walking canes are easy. Maybe I'm just a grey noob. But to get that, then the precision from Tribe just to get the kill onto Gene straight away, that play just won them the round by itself. That's just crazy. That's crazy. If I was Luminosity, I wouldn't lose full, but that would catch me off guard because plays like that can just change the momentum so easily. So the thing I love about Meg as well, you can see Meg can easily wall peek, especially on like a one tile block. That barrel in the middle, you can just shoot around. Is some good Meg tech, and you can just get some insane pressure. So the job of it as Livy is just to survive. That's all you pick Meg for a knockout. Just chip them down, keep them low, stop them from regenning, and you know, eventually you might get close enough to get a good swipe off. But again, she's not the damage dealer. She's just there to deal pressure. Zulan's just there to tap. You know, Grace surprisingly does a lot of damage as well. And if you could just keep them at bay, keep the range, you're eventually going to chip them down. And that's exactly what good players do. For Chino, goes for the play there really aggressively. Again, he's trying just to create some space. He's never going to get the kill, but he's just trying to gain some momentum up the map. Again, it's just like a last-ditch attempt. It's really hard for Carl to do anything. Like, normally Carl can just split off down the lane, but with Buster, you have to group up. With Gene, you have to group up. So now it's the final circle. Buster has shield here. You'd think it's going to be in his favor here. But some really wide pinches from Tribe makes it pretty good. Zulan with a jump. I don't know how this last interaction is going to go. Somehow, Tribe are going to come off the top. I mean, to me, that just felt like Luminosity had that. But some really good decision makings in the final light circle there. Again, you saw how wide they pinched. Of course, Buster is kind of tunneled, but if you get a really wide pinch, you can get some good damage on him. I think that secured the win. It was very close in the end, but I really like the strategy with Tribe to counter the Gene and Buster cheese. Now moving on to set number 2, we have Bridge to Far Heist. So I like the NA broadcast a lot more because the drafts are going so much slower. I remember with EU and APAC, the drafts are just so fast. I think the production was definitely lacking for the first monthly final. But we've got a Nanny first pick here, which is, I won't really say it's interesting, it's just pretty well known, right? Especially like Piper's Band, Eve, tons of other good first picks. One thing I love watching the monthly finals is just learning what the pros ban for first pick. So you can see Tribe, for example, they ban Angelo, Eve, and Colt. So you know for sure when you play ranked, those are the best brawlers on that map. You know, you can never go wrong with Eve, etc. So I've seen a lot of Charlie recently on Bridge Too Far. It's just really good consistently. There's hardly any lanes she loses to. But one reason why they've picked Brock as well, because Brock's one of the best counters to Charlie on this map. So they just managed to get that kind of 2-3 lock-in. That's what you typically do in a 2-3. Pick a strong brawler like Charlie and pick one of the biggest counters. So they respond with one of Charlie's counters as well within Amber. Amber's a great counter to Charlie because she can kind of keep that mid-range interaction when she wants to. Amber can just pop Gadget and just run her down. Also, she can shoot through the spiders if needed, and the super's got some good damage. So Amber's definitely a really good counter to Charlie. And then lastly, we've got Bo with Luminosity, which I don't really understand too much. And then we see the 8-bit. So, you know what? All things considered, you'd think Bo has a good matchup against 8-bit. It's pretty hard to kill an 8-bit as Bo. But I think a lot of times, you know, 8-bit will just feed Bo a lot of supers and you should be able to keep the range. But Tribe really love the 8-bit. It's kind of gone out the heist meta a little bit before you just pick 8-bit no matter what. But Tribe, you know, I think they've seen him play it on Safe Zone and it just worked out fantastically. Like Zulan, is it Zulan that plays it? Yeah, Zulan plays the 8-bit. He plays it so well. I've seen it last year and years before. So in terms of who's got comp then, in all honesty, which one do I like more? So I would probably say the Tribe comp, mainly because they've just got more damage. Like Nani has good damage, but Bo and Amber don't really have good damage. You know, Tyrant just absolutely destroys the Bo there, which is insane from him. But you know, Tribe have the damage. With Nani TPing, he's gonna probably go for the kill on Tyrant. Yeah, good TP from Chino, but he's probably gonna get traded out pretty much instantly from SpenLC, or at least pushed back. Some good chip damage from Chino there. Zulan as well getting some good chip. I think the control probably will go Luminosyty's way more times than not, but you just literally need one attack with 8-bit. And as I say this a million times, people just don't understand the importance of damage in Heist. You just need one good attack. You can be losing the entire game and then just one good attack with 8-bit and Brock. Your opponents slip up once and it's pretty much over for them. So good kill from SpenLC there on the Amber. Looks like Nani's going to TP in here. He's going to rely on his teammates to defend, which you pretty much would think you could with Bo and Amber. And both of them survive with a sliver of HP. Tyrant uses the gadget to confirm a kill. It's a really underrated thing about Brock that I like to utilize a lot. You know, people just think with Brock, you got to use gadget to break open stuff. But you realize that it's kind of like, well, it's not really a mini Piper homemade recipe, but essentially is in this scenario. Like, you just use the gadget for a free hit onto them every single time. You probably hit this gadget more than homemade recipe, to be fair. Again, this Amber interaction, like, I wouldn't really say down this lane it's like Amber wins every single time. It's just this kind of awkward poke fight. I've had this fight quite a few times, but as Livy misses the hypercharge super, unfortunately there, does use the cocoon to heal himself back up, but I think he might just die as soon as Amber gets within range here. Maybe if Livy hit that first shot, no, I don't think it would have mattered anyway. He just bought himself some time down the lane, so now that gives him time to switch matchup. They obviously want the 8-bit onto the Amber. 8-bit slowed by the Mythic gear even more. Like, I just feel terrible for Zulan here. Like, how slow can you get? He just tanks that Amber fire. I guess he can with 10k HP. We've got Tyrant just doing his thing. I mean, I hardly ever see him lose his lane. He just keeps his distance so well against the Bo. Nani's going to TP on here to try and get some pressure, but there's a lot of damage that they need to get. They're trying to get the pinch onto SpenLC. I guess they've got to try and deal with him a little bit, and that's going to be some good damage from LG. They're going to manage to turn the tide in their favor, but SpenLC and Tyrant, the other side, just finish things off pretty quickly. Again, it's just timings with Heist, where the way you kind of time your last attack. In that scenario, like, Luminosity timed it good, but there's just some good pinches from Tribe, and they left themselves enough time to get more damage on the Heist save. Normally on Heist, or just, you know, like Bounty, you want to leave it last second. You know, typically the team that can go in and get the pressure in the last second will win the game. So interesting matchup changes here. I'd say 8-bit does struggle a lot against Bo, but he can definitely win it if he hits some good taps from Zulan, which he is doing pretty well against the Bo. He's got some good jukes there. Fair play from Zulan. Again, he's insane on the 8-bit. Like, you'd think a brawler like 8-bit, you wouldn't have good tech, but trust me, you're the slowest brawler in the game. If you can juke well with 8-bit and survive, that's going to mean a lot, because of course with his boosted booster, he deals so much damage. So Brock against Amber. Brock can keep his distance, but I think Amber will win the lane in terms of pressure. She probably hardly ever get kills onto Brock, but in terms of just pure pressure, she's just going to run all over the Brock. And that's a really good gadget from SpenLC. I didn't realize that. That literally tanked the entire fire. And then he came out with the shield gadget. And again, like, look at that gadget. It's so cheesy. Like, Charles just has to run back because he just doesn't have the ammo capacity with Amber. Hilarious. Like, if you guys don't know about this gadget, you need to start running it in some matchups. I mean, I would still probably go with Spiders because it's heist, but just seeing the value that he's getting, I might have to switch with my gadget choice. SpenLC is just playing insane on the Charlie, so the damage is still running it in for Tribe so far. Then he's going to try and TP in here. He's going to get the Brock down, I guess, because Amber can't push up much. He's going to go for the TP kill instead, but it's just hard for him to confirm damage. Again, the only way they're going to get damage is if they manage to get like a full team wipe, which against a team like Tribe, the way they're playing at the minute, is just ridiculously hard. Tyrant gets another kill onto Charles. SpenLC gets the kill onto Bo, and that's just insane. Chino needs to get a good TPM from behind. I guess Tyrant, whoa, I mean, that's a good kill, but at the end of the day, that means he can't TP onto the safe. They're really relying on Nane to get in behind and create some pressure. SpenLC unfortunately missed super, but it's just the pressure they're getting. Zulan is just so far up in his lane. We've got SpenLC just pushing forward as well. Tyrant respawning. He's just he's looking for a bit of super damage, but he just used it on Chino instead. Chino is one shot, so there's only 20 seconds left, and we need, what, 30% damage here. It's not looking very likely. Zulan just pieces Patchy right there. Charles is trying his best to 1v2 in this scenario, but Zulan is just doing such a good job with his life. I don't even know. Like, is it just a composition? I guess it's probably the Bo pick. I think that's the thing that really costs Luminosity in this moment. Like, Bo is a decent brawler, but I just think it doesn't really have the lane presence that it used to have. And it really took its toll there. You saw it was always on the back foot the whole time. And if you're just defending the old time in heist, you're never going to win. So Tribe with a clean 2-0 so far. Very impressive. Let's hop into the next one. Okay, so jumping into the third set here, we have Brawl center stage. So this is literally set point for, well, yeah, match set point, whatever you want to call it, for Tribe Gaming. I mean, it would be a big ask to 3-0 Luminosity, especially with, you know, Tribe, I think, had a pretty turbulent year last year. You know, they won't shy away from it. Definitely below their expectations, considering how many monthly finals they've won in the past. But fair play to them. They look a lot cleaner with the preparation this year. They just look better, making less mistakes. They're playing so much better, more better as a team here. So I'm liking this Tribe Gaming for sure. So Zulan goes for the first pick Charlie, which you can never go wrong with. In terms of the first pick bans, we have Larry, Sandy, and Angelo. Sandy is a very underrated brawler. I mean, not by the pros, so I know how strong he is, but I don't really see many people go Sandy here on ranked, but definitely a good brawler. So very surprising in the double pick here, Poco and Otis. So I've always said personally myself that Poco is a really underrated brawler right now. The recent buff to his tuning foot gadget actually is pretty strong. You've of course got to pick it pretty late in the draft, I believe, for it to work out. So they've picked it early here, but they must have a strategy. You can't just go Poco and not have a strategy. If you go with Otis to try and counter out some of these tanks that they're looking to go, but go in the Rico and the Rosa here, this is going to be pretty scary. So if I was to draft into this, just trying to think off the top of my head, I would probably go like a Primo, in all honesty, against the Rico, against the Rosa. They go with the Shelly. So to be fair, who's the Shelly on their team? I know they're insane chat. I think it's Charles, or I think no, I don't know. We'll have a look when we go in the game. But I remember one of the Luminosity Shellys is just insane. So they've gone with a double counter against the Rosa here. The problem is that they'll really struggle with SpenLC's Rico. Like, I've seen SpenLC's Rico on Excel, and it was absolutely insane. Unranked, this is literally like the #1 brawler to ban every single time. I'm very surprised they didn't just ban Rico, to be fair. Especially, like, one thing I don't understand sometimes is when you just literally give a pro their best brawler. I know there's so many brawlers to consider, and pros are good with so many brawlers, but SpenLC is just him on Rico. So I feel like sometimes you might have to just put a target ban in there, especially when this is literally Rico's power map. So it looks like, I mean, doesn't even matter. Patchy just ran it down and just killed him so easily. It's Chino and Shelly. I've seen him play so many Shelly games. I don't know how I didn't know it was Chino, but he's so good on the Shelly. He's going to go for the goal here. He left that pretty late. He could have just done that much quicker, but I mean, he's the pro. He got the goal in there. That's all that matters in the end. So they get the quick score in here. But again, if they get some good pinches with Charlie and also SpenLC, oh, what a good Rico super. And he just melts him as well. And now Zulan can just walk this one in. Charles knows that there's no point wasting this. Actually nearly kills him there. So maybe, actually no, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But now it's going to be 1-1 equaled up again, people were really underrating the Rico buff, which happened a few months ago. They buffed the, is it super bouncy star power, which just makes you just deal insane damage, and then they buffed the super damage as well. Bro, I can't even speak English. I'm just so broken at the minute. I've just too many YouTube videos, too many. But now Chino has hypercharged super here. It's going to use it on SLevy and Zulan, and he actually just gets the gold just like that. So I told you that Chino is just him. That was just such a clean play. The thing about center stage, you've always got to be wary of the grass. There could literally be anyone sneaking in there, and Chino just had the perfect opportunity and just took it. I mean, he's just literally him, isn't he? Also, in terms of the player camps, by the way, I think all of the players flew out to Texas because that's where the servers are. I'm very happy they've done that. Fair play to the org if they've paid for that, or if the players have paid for it out of their own pocket. I guess they kind of have to do that because that's where the servers are located. I was kind of scared that like a lot of this might just be coming down to like their ping. That's kind of how it is in NA competitive. Unfortunately, there's just most of the debates used to just literally be about ping. That's why the regions split up last year. There were like sub regions with West and East. But now I'm happy it's all together because as a viewer now, it just makes so much more sense. It's just so much more exciting watching all the best NA teams face off. That was so close from Chino. He had it super primed. Even though Shelly isn't, like, Shelly's really fallen off right now. Let's just say that. But Brawl is definitely one of her best game modes because a good old Shelly super opens up the walls so quickly and you can always get a free goal with it. So now Tyrant has hypercharge super. As Livy whiffs his super, but it doesn't matter. Look at the damage with that star power. It's disgusting. Tyrant gets the cocoon off and they score. It's just as easy as that. But now a little bit of the map is broken up, so it's definitely going to be a lot harder for Zulan to try and sneak in. He can only sneak in through the right. But I guess once he's going to go for the Poco surely every single time here. The slow is going to be really helpful. Does get his super in time. Does get Chino down. Wow, Zulan is goated. How did he manage to get a double kill in that scenario? I guess I kind of gave him too much respect. They probably, I don't even know. I guess it's hard for Poco to really get a kill. But you got to give it credit. Zulan positioned himself so well and managed to come off victorious there. I guess I just really got to get Shelly onto the Rosa because Otis does counter Rosa pretty okay, but still it takes a long time for Otis to shut Rosa down, while Shelly, you know, it's literally Shelly. You can just run into Rosa's face, auto-aim with super and kill her every single time. So the good thing about Rosa is the slow. It reveals everyone, and of course with the slow as well, it's so easy to pinch. The slow lasts forever as well. You got to realize that. Chino pops gadget here, so now they need to get in as quickly as possible. But another slow from Zulan. Is he running 4 slows? He is. He's running 4 Rosa slows. I mean, that's crazy. I need to try that strategy. Zulan with the goal as well, bro. He's actually him at the moment. He's playing so good into a double hard counter matchup. So good. He's got one more slow left as well. I guess he did burn 3 gadgets to score. But like I said, sometimes it doesn't even matter, right? Some people hold on to their gadgets for so long. But with a brawler like Charlie, with a brawler like Rosa on this map, just spam out your gadgets. If it equals a goal, even if they have to use 4 gadgets, it's good, right? Literally, you need 2 goals to win, so you may as well just get 1 goal and just pray you can just work things out with defense. So Zulan again, building up his super from the Poco, which is going to be really good for him. Pops his hypercharge super, which I'm not too sure about considering it's really low HP. Does get some decent value with it overall. And now is Livy can just put this in the pocket because they're literally 1 minute 15 away from securing this literally entire match, which is just crazy. To 3-0 Luminosity would be a big statement. So Tyrant misses hypercharge super, but it doesn't even matter because the spiders still go out and cause a lot of pressure. The pinch with Zulan and the just Tyrant shooting a Poco. It's just too much for Poco overall. Again, Poco's a good brawler, but they didn't really synergize it with good Poco compositions, right? You know, normally Poco, you want to run it down with like a Max, you want to run it down with some tanks, but it's just really hard for a solo Poco to really do anything. His solo job really in this meta, because he's not good, is literally the gadget. It's all about the start, getting the pressure with the gadgets, you know, maybe getting some clutch double hits to build up a lot of supers, but you can't break out Poco. Like, literally, Rosa just runs all over Poco in a 1v1, so they're just spawn trapping him at this point. They can't break out. Poor Poco. They don't really have that quick DPS to deal with Rosa in the bushes all of his time. Again, Zulon's going to go in. He doesn't actually go too aggressive right here. He knows he needs to stay alive for a little bit longer if he can. It doesn't even matter. The ball's in the corner. Nothing that Luminosity can do. And Tribe are going to be your first ever NA monthly final champions for this year. I mean, it's not really first ever, but the first monthly final for NA this year. But I'm really interested. I mean, big props to Tribe, by the way. Like, King Zoo pop off with those guns. Like, a lot of people doubted Tribe, especially because of the World Finals, but they came out swinging this time around. And I just can't wait for the NA rivalry to unfold this year. There's so many good teams in NA. The big ones are obviously looking out for STMN coming back. We've got Space Station entering the mix as well. We've got Luminosity probably wanting revenge. And like I said, I probably missed out on some. We've got Tribe, of course. There's 4 big teams that can all win monthly finals. So I'm excited for next month. But this month, congratulations to Tribe. Definitely deserved. The teamwork was impeccable. You could just feel the difference. You know, these guys have put their research into the draft. Again, the draft was a big problem against SK Gaming as well. I think some of their picks were questionable. So this time around, they've really nailed it. Of course, these 3 guys are just so insanely talented. Corey as well. Kana in the background. You'll love to see it. Anyways, it's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.